That's just the letter B, right? How about this? Do you feel anything now?
Last year, I got a B in math. It was not a bad grade, but it felt heavy. Since it was my first year as an international student, I had so much pressure on me about my grades, about my social life, about everything I did. And I remember sitting there, thinking that B said something real about me. I felt smaller because of it, even though nothing in my life had actually changed.
That reaction is familiar, not because of the grade itself, but because of what we believe it represents. We treat things like grades, achievements, and opinions as if they carry built-in meaning, as if they reveal something objectively true about us.
Our idea is simple. In a cosmic and absolute sense, you do not matter. There is no built-in meaning to your life, no universal importance attached to what you do.
And at that same time, everything you experience as meaningful exists because humans created meaning. The fact that something matters to you is real, but the system that tells you what should matter is something that we made.
Think about things we take seriously. Grades, success, status, reputation, productivity. These feel stable and objective, but they're just systems that we agreed on. A letter grade on a piece of paper only matters because we decided that it does. Money only works because we collectively believe in it. Borders, titles, rankings, even the idea of a successful life are definitions that we constructed.
These ideas shape how we feel. They influence our choices, our confidence, and the way we judge ourselves. That B mattered to Sena because she had been taught that it should matter. Her reaction was real, but the meaning attached to that grade came from a human system.
Now, let's step completely outside of those systems. I want you to relate to our idea better. I want you to imagine yourself in a room where you're completely invisible. Not overlooked, not ignored, just invisible. You don't have to perform. You don't have to impress anyone. And suddenly, all the small fears disappear. You would probably move differently, speak differently, maybe even do things you've always been too embarrassed or afraid to try. And there's a freedom in that. A lightness that comes from knowing nothing you do is being measured.
But in real life, we're told the opposite. We're constantly reminded that we matter, that everything we do counts, that every mistake sticks. And without even realizing it, that idea starts to weigh on us. Because if everything matters, then every flaw matters, every awkward moment matters, every failure feels permanent, like it says something final about who we are. And that's why the idea of not mattering, at least in the grand scheme of things, can feel so liberating. It doesn't have to erase your existence. It just takes the pressure off of being watched all the time. It gives you space.
Space to try, to fail, to change without feeling like each moment defines you forever.
In a way, it's like being invisible again. Not to disappear, but to finally move freely.
Now, let's think about the average person. Not the top 1%. Not the ones we turn into headlines, just the average life. We care, we try, we stress over things that feel huge in the moment. But then time passes, new things replace the old ones, and what once felt defining fades. And that's not because our lives didn't matter. It's because those systems, grades, titles, rankings, were never built to carry real meaning in the first place. They measure performance. They don't measure you. And even that is still too close.
Let's go further, beyond people, beyond anything we've ever built or decided. Look at the universe itself. There are billions of galaxies, each with billions of stars. Most of them will never be seen, let alone remembered. And here we are, on one planet, in one system, in one tiny moment, letting things like a number on a piece of paper decide how we see ourselves. On that scale, there aren't really any records. The universe does not assign value. It does not measure importance. It does not care whether you met expectations, because those expectations do not exist at that scale.
From that perspective, it is easy to say that nothing matters.
But even that statement is something that we created. The idea that nothing matters only exists because we are the ones asking the question in the first place.
The universe is not telling you that nothing matters. It is not telling you that anything matters either. It is not making a statement at all.
So we are left with something important. There is no built-in meaning, but there is experienced meaning. There's no universal importance, but there's personal significance.
This B felt heavy because it mattered to me in that moment. That feeling was real. It affected me. It stayed with me. But it was not absolute. It was not permanent. It was not something written into my existence.
Before this talk, we asked students and teachers at our school a question. Imagine everyone in this world, from infants to adults, is placed into a voting booth. In front of them are two buttons. If you press the blue button, everyone survives, but only if half of humanity also chooses blue. If you press the red button, your survival is guaranteed, no matter what anyone else chose. This survey revealed something very interesting about human nature. It revealed selfishness, fear, and the natural instinct to choose ourselves first. But it also revealed something that supports our thesis.
Most of the people chose red, 61.9%. More than half of the people around us chose themselves over everyone else. And maybe that says something far bigger than we want it to.
When we talk about not mattering, people usually think about death, the universe, time, how eventually everything disappears. But what if we don't matter long before that? Not just after we die, not just to the stars or the universe, right now, at work, at school, walking down a hallway, to the person sitting next to you, to the person 3 rows behind you. We tell ourselves we are deeply connected, that people notice us all the time, that our embarrassments, that our awkward moments, that our failures take space in people's minds. But when survival became personal, people did not choose to save humanity. They chose to save themselves.
And the frightening part about this is not that people are cruel. It's that to most people, you are abstract. You are background noise in the story they tell themselves about their own life, just like they are in yours.
Everyone is the center of their own existence, which means that nobody is thinking about you as much as you think they are. Not in public, not in class, not when you think your life has completely fallen apart.
The world keeps moving. People keep eating lunch, laughing at messages on their phone, going home, falling asleep, even while you're convinced your life is collapsing.
Even suffering is strangely small. People die every day while someone laughs at a video on their phone. Someone got their heart broken while another person eats lunch. Someone is completely convinced that their life is falling apart while traffic lights change outside. Nothing stops. Nothing pauses for anyone. One day, you will leave a room for the last time, and most people in it won't know it mattered. One day, someone will say your name for the last time, and eventually, nobody will. One day, even the people who knew you best will disappear, taking the memory of you with them, as if you were never really here at all. Now, let's move on to an interesting fact. According to the World Health Organization, the average life expectancy in Canada is around 82 years.
82 years.
82 summers, 82 winters, 82 birthdays, 82 New Years. A finite number of mornings you wake up and get another chance to live your life.
Not infinite, not abstract, pretty countable instead.
At the beginning of this talk, you were handed a sheet of paper. Please take a look at it now.
Those 4,264 small squares, that's your life. 82 years, 4,264 weeks.
Each square is a week you get. A week you will either spend worrying about things that were never absolute or living inside something that actually matters to you.
Some of those squares are already gone. You don't get them back. Some of them you haven't even thought about yet, but they're coming.
And if your life is only 4,264 squares, then what actually deserves to take up those squares?
A letter grade on a piece of paper? A moment of embarrassment? A disappointment? An expectation someone else created?
You don't matter in a cosmic sense. Not just you, also me, and every single person you see in this room. None of us matter to the cosmic sense. There is no universal scoreboard tracking your performance, no final judgment deciding if you used your squares correctly.
So why are you living like there is?
You don't matter more than you matter. Statistically, cosmically, you just don't.
And that's the point. Because if you don't matter in that absolute sense, then you are free from it too.
4,264 squares.
That's your life. Not your GPA, not your reputation, not the version of you other people expect. It's just time.
And one day, those squares run out. You don't get more if you're successful. You can't buy extra ones if you're rich. That's all you get.
So the real question in here isn't, do I matter? Because in the way you have been taught to think about it, no, you don't.
There is no universal standard you're failing to meet. No invisible system deciding your worth.
The pressure you feel comes from something we made.
And if we made it, we have the power to question it.
When I saw this bee, for a moment I actually believed it. I thought this bee meant I wasn't getting into my dream university. I even kept asking my counselors if that bee messed my record card. But then school ended, and I had to walk home. And on that walk, I started noticing things that I hadn't been paying attention to before. The sun was out, there were people everywhere, kids laughing, talking, running ahead of each other like nothing in the world was wrong. And in that moment, I remember thinking, someone out there is having the best day of their life right now, and it has nothing to do with me, nothing to do with my test, and nothing to do with my bee. I kept walking. There were people, birds, someone on their phone smiling at something. And it just hit me in the most simple way that life was going on. And I realized something in that moment. Whatever I thought that bee meant about my future, about my worth, about who I was, it wasn't something fixed. It was just something I had decided to believe. And if life could keep on moving that easily, that quietly, then I could too. Then I should too. So yes, you are allowed to care about things. You are allowed to find moments meaningful.
But you are not required to treat everything as if it carries absolute importance, because it doesn't. 4,264 small boxes of time. And no one is coming to tell you exactly how to fill them. No one is handing you a guaranteed plan or a perfect outcome. No one can even guarantee if you actually do have all of them. So use them how you want to use them. Not based on one grade, not based on one moment, not based on one fear that tells you everything is already decided. Because life will keep moving anyway. So don't try to be more than you are. Don't shrink yourself into something smaller either. Just be here. Choose what matters. Because meaning doesn't come from instructions. It doesn't come from a formula or a perfectly organized life. It comes from you, from what you choose to hold on to, what you care about, what you decide is worth your time, in a world that will keep moving no matter what you do. So no, we're not going to hand you an answer. And it isn't because we don't have one, but it's because it wouldn't mean a thing if it didn't come from you.
So please, let this be the most freeing thing you ever realize. Thank you.
Thank you.